Hey guys, before we get into this chat with Dameon Clarke, who you may know from Borderlands as Handsome Jack or Cell in Dragon Ball Z, I want to do a quick shout out to three really great content creators. First up, Jantmor. Fantastic interviews with plenty of amazing guests. Northern Nerdcast, great friends, great supporters of this show for many years. Great little podcast there. They had David Bateson on, you'll know from Hitman. Definitely recommend you check that one out. And of course, What Would Kay Say? Really great girl. She did a great interview with Nolan North. Yeah, I'd love to talk with him, but she got him on and they had a really great chat. I really recommend it. So I'm going to leave their channels in the description. I would love for you to go over there and subscribe to them before we get started here, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the interview. Everybody, please welcome the illustrious Dameon Clarke. How you doing, mate?
What does illustrious mean?
The illustrious career, the amazing career that spans across decades. Are we safe to say that now?
How do you spell that?
Absolutely no fucking clue. But
spanning, God, dude. Yeah, spanning, around 30 years.
30 years now. Wow.
I got started as a kid.
Yeah, you started when you were 11, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Something like that, yeah.
And was that on a movie? I'm guessing that first role?
Yeah, in Canada, in Vancouver. It was a movie of the week where I played William Shatner's son. And Sybil Shepherd from The Mamas and the Papas. I was too young at the time to know who the hell they were. But later on, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Michelle Phillips's kid. But yeah, and then some TV series and whatnot after that, and et cetera, et cetera.
Did you get the bug in that first gig, or did it take a while for you to realize this is what you were going to do as a career?
No, man. I don't know. I kind of just fell into it. And then I did it for a while, and I started having like tutors and whatnot, and didn't really go to school much anymore. And then sports and stuff like that fell away. And so I dropped it around 15 probably.
Yeah. Wow. And you went all in at that point?
Pretty much. It just kind of happened real fast. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, and working with people like Keanu Reeves and Robert Downey Jr., I mean, that must have been an amazing opportunity as well. I don't know if anyone watching has seen A Scanner Darkly. Fantastic little film. Do you remember much about that?
I was drunk the whole time, so really.
Really? Okay.
I was, though. What if I wasn't? I was just being really honest about it. Good for you. All right. You doing okay now, though? Yeah, I'm all right now. Yeah.
So far out. Yes.
It was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, how do you, getting a group like that in one room, right? So, metaphorically speaking. Well, actually, no, for the table rate. I guess everybody was in one room. But yeah, we had, Winona Ryder, Woody Harrelson, Keanu Reeves, et cetera.
Do you go back and look at that sort of stuff, like your work on all these shows and movies, or?
Dude, I hate watching myself, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just had to record myself for something last night, and I just couldn't even bear to watch it.
Still, even all these years later.
You're never going to be happy with it. It's freaking torture.
Really?
You kind of have to sometimes. Like when I'm on set, I'll depending on the scene, like I'll want to see playback on it, just for technical reasons. But I'm never happy with the performance ever. I don't think I don't know who is. I don't know who looks at the dailies or playback and goes, "Yeah, I'm awesome."
Is that just a strive for perfection?
Because there's always something, man.
Right.
There's always something.
You're looking for the negatives, not the positives of the performance.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, especially if you've taken a lot of acting classes or, trained a lot, they're always going to pick you apart. Whatever little thing you got going on, there's always a list. Like say you're in an acting class and you do a scene and you wait for the feedback from whatever acting teacher, and they've got a list of however many things you fucked up on. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So tell me, I'm speaking to you now. Yeah, I'm speaking to you now, and I'm thinking, Dameon's a bloody hell of a bloke. How the hell is this guy just always these heinous villains?
Hell of a bloke.
It's
I'm gonna put that on my business card. I don't have a business card, but I'm gonna get one and I'm gonna put it on there.
You know, a lot of people would know you as, Cell in Dragon Ball Z or
Yeah.
Handsome Jack, too. Really iconic characters.
I played a lot of serial killers on TV too, for some reason. Didn't know if you knew that or not.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why is it this lovely bloke, Dameon?
It's fun, dude. It's fun.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's just fun to explore that. And I don't know. Because I like to think of myself as a pretty nice guy, but I just have a lot of fun playing those characters.
When did you realize someone like Handsome Jack was this iconic character? Was it straight after the game came out? Was it while you were doing it? Because some of those lines are just insane. I've never heard some of this voice work in a game, still to this day.
I know, it's wacky. It's a testament to how it was written too. But yeah, no, man, no clue. Because I hadn't played the first one. I didn't know where this is going. But I guess maybe pre-sequel. And then they come up with a Handsome collection. And we kind of went all in there for a little while, huh? And then Tales from the Borderlands and all that. It's like, I don't know. You don't want to beat something to death, right? I don't know if we did or not. Did we think we did too much Handsome Jack?
No, I was going to say, when are we getting him again?
Well, it depends on, I have no idea what they're thinking, but it has to be done cleverly. Because, with that character, you can get into a real joke-a-palooza, kind of clowny lane if you're not careful. So it needs to, I think one of the things with Borderlands 2, as opposed to the things that came after it, was that there was a pretty decent arc into Tales from the Borderlands. Was a pretty decent arc too, where you show things like you need to show vulnerability. You need to show growth, be it negative or positive. I think, if you're talking about a DLC or something and you're coming and going, there's not really time to explore that. But I think it's interesting with that character because there's a lot of room for it, for exploration there, for sure, especially with the Timothy character.
So is that where you would take it, more like a more serious tone, you think?
Well, I mean, there's moments where obviously that's not the case, but that's my preference, is to have layers to them. You know what I mean? Like 100%. There's side quests in the second one where you actually think, I think it's like going to grandma's house or something like that, and you actually think this guy might be halfway decent, and then he pulls the football out, a la Charlie Brown at the last minute. I love stuff like that, where there's, you don't really know what he's going to do next, as opposed to, I know exactly what he's going to do next. He's going to say a dumb thing and shoot somebody. You know what I mean?
I know that everyone always mentions that pretzel line or scene. Is there a scene that you wish people would bring up more, or that you think was a bit of a hidden gem or a line?
Dude, I don't remember what I did. Oh, freaking clue. There was so much wacky make-em-ups at the time.
Oh man,
it's so much.
That's the best part of it, the freedom that you got, the improvisation.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there was some pretty cool collaboration and whatnot. I would say collaboration as much as like improving on the day. You can come up with last minute stuff that's just funny. I mean, I was just eating in the booth and threw a line out, and who knew? It's
just natural. Comes across.
You don't know what people are going to latch onto and what they're not.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a matter of like how genuine the character was, and how and again, the writing was there. All we had to do was build on it. Which we didn't need to do that, but we had the option of doing that because everybody was pretty cool about it. If it was funny, it stayed in. That was pretty much the vibe there.
How do you balance, because as you said, if there was too much of him, or if you didn't do it the right way, he might come across as annoying, or start to irritate the player. How do you balance that? How do you make that villain what it is? Is it in the writing? Is it in your performance? Is it a mix of both?
It's a mix of both, where we're more or less recording linearly, so meaning like watching a play rather than how
you didn't do it out of order.
For the most part, it was pretty linear. Right. So we would get a sense of what we've done up to that point. Where do we need a genuine moment here, or are we coming across too much this way? We need to add a little more depth or layer or vulnerability or whatever to it. That's one of the things about record. For the most part, it is a linear experience because you don't have to worry about things like rain days, weather cover, locations, that kind of stuff. So it makes it easier that way. It's like, I think he's coming across a little too one note right now.
That definitely would have helped. Because usually a lot of games,
any character you want to, especially like with something like Cell as well. You know what I mean? Because he comes across as just sort of, as much as we can, we like to interject different vibes.
And especially with Cell as well, because of the different forms that he has. I mean, I love Dragon Ball Z. I haven't caught up with everything, so bear me if I'm sure. I think there's more levels to the characters now, isn't there? There's like Max for Cell now. He goes to Max.
Yeah, but that's not really. I mean, did you see the movie?
No, I haven't seen it. I'm looking forward.
He just screamed his face off.
What's that? I mean, that must
a version of it, but there's no time. He doesn't have any dialogue.
Oh, okay, right. So you just literally came into the booth to scream that day.
Yeah. But listen, man, I'm just jazzed to be able to keep doing it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
because I didn't see Jack until I walked into the booth on the first day of recording, and that was kind of the case with even Justin and the producers and directors and whatnot. Because they had locked up so tight that we didn't even. I don't think Justin even knew. I think he said 2 weeks prior to recording that Cell was even in the movie.
Shit. With Handsome Jack, with Cell, it's interesting because there's a point where these villains become not good guys, but people sort of look past the hideous stuff. They look past the stuff, the bad stuff, and they sort of latch onto them like a Joker or a Darth Vader, where they sort of get away with things because they're just, people love them so much. What is it about those two in particular you think that...
Which two?
Cell and Handsome Jack in particular.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, like half the time I don't even know. Honestly, like with the group that Handsome Jack resonates with sometimes, I'm so pumped about it. But like if you were to say, hey, what demo do you think Handsome Jack's gonna fit in with? I would not have come up with the demo that we got. Well, it's pretty diverse.
When you go to cons, are they just all different people from different walks of lives?
Man, there's families, there's kids, there's adults, but without getting into specifics, it's pretty broad. But I don't, I think a lot, you got to start with the writing, honestly. If it's not there, you have to be able to plot out what makes this character redeemable on some level, or relatable, or sympathetic, and I think with Handsome Jack, it was with Cell, it's harder to answer that question because I don't think because nobody dies in Borderlands or in Dragon Ball. So it's easier to kind of forgive someone getting an ass whipping when they get out of the crater and they're like, give a little dust off.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's not horrific. You're not like, you bastard, how could you? So Cell's no worse than, say, like a Vegeta in that respect. But I just think, if you can make him entertaining at least and funny, I think with Dragon Ball, it's got to be, there's got to be the humor,
100%.
There's no vulnerability to explore with any of the characters, even if you're a freaking toddler, toddler with a power level of 15,000.
Have they done that yet? I guess they have with the kid Trunks.
Gohan.
Oh, was he a toddler? Was he?
I mean, 10 years old, whatever.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Close enough. Yeah.
Too young.
I asked a few of my subscribers if they had any questions for you, and a lot of them brought up your work as...
People watch this show? I'm kidding. I Googled you. I know you're a big deal. Future
Gohan, I keep hearing. What is it about that role that resonated with people? Because everyone kept bringing this up. Not, obviously the other two, but do you remember your work with that?
Oh, that's good to hear.
They loved your voice on that. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, it was just we did a movie on it, and Hit Trunks, and yeah,
So you only did just the one movie for that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And people just loved it. Yeah.
They hired Kyle for it. Yeah. Which,
Bloody,
he did a great job.
bloody Kyle. Far out.
Have you talked to Kyle?
No, I would love to though. I know.
Yeah,
you guys have been traveling around doing cons, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every now and again.
It's back.
It's back, man. Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting. Is it weird though? Interacting with people after doing this Zoom thing?
No,
for so long?
once the weirdness lasts for like maybe a con, and then you feel like, okay, I'm back.
What do people come up to you the most for? What role? I'm just curious.
Well, Dragon Ball is big right now because of the pandemic, and everybody really got into anime, man. They're like, what the hell do I watch next kind of thing? And then turns out one of those things was Dragon Ball.
Wow.
And, My Hero, Attack on Titan, there's a bunch of stuff. But also, I'd say the top. Yeah, Scar, Full Metal.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's sick.
He's a big one.
I forgot that you did that, man. Wow.
Yeah.
You've really had a stellar career, man. You've ticked off all the boxes.
And there'll be, Supernatural episode that I did. It was kind of like a full main character in that, which is kind of weird for that show. So,
can you talk to us about that? Because I also had a few people talk about that. You made an impact on that show as well. I know it was only short, but yeah, what was your experience with that? Because that's a show that went on for a very long time, but sustained the audience.
Vampire level kind of cult following on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wild. I got that appointment. God. So when there's like a main guest star in a show like that, they kind of skew towards stunt casting where they want a name, be it somebody off of like a recently canceled or still ongoing TV series, something that's kind of recognizable. And the way I even got that appointment, that audition, was that somebody just at the last minute couldn't do it. And so there was a scramble, and the casting director had seen me in this movie of the week for Lifetime. And he's like, I like that guy, and let's bring him in. And it was a hoot, man. It was a blast. They put me up on like wires and cables and stuff. And it's like 3 in the morning downtown Vancouver. Pissing rain.
Shit.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I can't say I've seen the show because I'm a bit intimidated by is it 15 seasons or something like that?
14, 15, something like that.
What season are you in? Do you know?
4.
Oh, okay. So,
and they were planning on shutting her down right around. There was talk of that happening. The guys were like, "Oh, we're exhausted."
Really?
Like, I know. Wow. And I don't know what happened, but they're like, "It's 4 seasons." Look, when you're shooting a show like that in Vancouver, it's like the X-Files. Yeah. Everything happens at night. Mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. Usually an exterior situation, or maybe 50-50, but especially with a show like X-Files, we're always running around in the freaking forest looking for aliens and zombies and stuff, and it's pissing rain. And I know that they were like, we can't shoot in Vancouver anymore. It's killing us. Getting seasonal disorder or whatever that thing's called. And with Supernatural, it's kind of like that too, where it's all exterior night shoots pretty much. I mean, or for a large chunk of it, but they hung in there, man. 14 years.
Hung in there. I think there's another word for that.
14
if they were tired at season 4, I mean, that's something must have changed.
The first season, they looked like little babies.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and then they looked wise.
That's amazing.
It's like Maverick and Top Gun. They should have opened up like a demon hunting school and just like done the Maverick role. You know what I mean?
Man, you just reminded me how good of a movie that was, Maverick. Oh,
pretty good, huh?
I loved it, man.
Exactly what you wanted it to be. They threw in Kenny Loggins. They freaking carbon copied that thing. Thank God, Hey, are you talking to one person that said no thanks to that movie? Exactly.
It's just a fun movie. It's got everything for everyone.
Great. Yeah, that's great.
I know you're a big Yellowstone fan too, aren't you? Like me. What a great show. That must be the best show on TV. I have to
Yeah.
say.
Where'd you pull that nugget from?
I just do a bit of research, mate. I have to do my due diligence. But yeah, it's just the,
I think
well,
somebody asked me like what show I would want to be on, and I was like Yellowstone.
whoa, mate, of course. Series regular on Yellowstone.
God,
Fuck.
reading that. Just here's your horse. Here's your horse. There's a couple over there if you want those too, right? Here's your cowboy outfit. I mean, look, we don't ever really fully grow up, do we?
No.
So it's, in my brain, I'm still 9 in certain aspects. When it comes to things like that, I'm like, yeah, where's my hat? Where's my gun? Where's my horse? Let's go.
Oh, man. I can't wait for the next season. That's all I'll say. But
yeah, some people were saying they didn't like the 3rd season, but I love the whole thing. I think it's dope. What was it? 1918?
Yeah, I know the show you're talking about. Yeah.
What year? 1809 something.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Have you seen it?
It was it's good.
Yeah.
It was good. It was very different, which I liked.
Very different.
But yeah, it's just the Oregon Trail, which the Oregon Trail is, I don't want to go down a history rabbit hole, but it's fascinating to hear stories and read things about the Oregon Trail where people would literally walk from Texas to Oregon because it was like free land and stuff. And that's the whole thing. And what was the percentage of the people that made it? It's like 5, it's not. So that's the show, Oregon Trail.
Yeah, no, 100%. Another show a lot of people loved you in was How to Get Away with Murder. John, in that show, how was that experience, and how was that fandom? Because that was when Netflix was sort of really gaining, right? That was a Netflix show.
It was a network show.
Network show, okay.
Yeah, so when I was shooting it, what was it on? NBC, ABC?
Maybe I watched it down here in Australia on Netflix. Maybe I'm. Yeah, you know what it's like. Yeah,
it went like 3 or 4 seasons, I think, something like that. Well, yeah, I mean, it was a very, very talented cast. I like doing procedurals. They're a lot of fun. It's like shooting that was like kind of like shooting Graceland, where you've got a very large ensemble. And, Graceland, I'm like the head assistant director of the FBI. This one, I'm, a detective, kind of along the same lines. And it's not, a lot of it's hit your mark and say your lines when you're doing a show like that. And
you don't get many double,
well, if you're playing a government employee, like it's there's not a lot of, there's no breakdown moments where I'm, there's no less than 0 moments. There's no.
Yeah, I understand.
But if you do is like, you're not good at, when I did Castle and play a serial killer, you got a lot of room to play around with stuff and explore characters or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm just happy on set, man.
I know. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
I like working with other actors, especially ones like Viola Davis. It's a pretty amazing opportunity.
Yeah, she's a pro.
Oh yeah, man. What if I said no? What do you think? What do you think, man?
Like, but is she, when I say that, I mean, is she on another level to the typical?
Well, again, man, you're doing a procedural, so
okay, right.
That's fun, isn't it? I love living in LA. Sound of like train passing, wind in the trees. It's always a piece of shit car too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Never a Lamborghini.
It's car with the club on the steering wheel that it's an 83 Corolla.
Oh no. Just
with spinners on it.
Think of it as nice background music if you can.
So
no.
What was the question?
Oh, that's all good. I wanted to
talk. So when you're working with her, there's moments where you can see her, like, it's a procedural again. So there's only so much
you're gonna
get into. You know what I mean? It's not a feature where you're exploring something my left foot, but she's unbelievable.
Now, that wasn't the last time you'd play a detective. You played a detective in a little game called Mafia Definitive Edition. Absolutely loved that game.
Did you like it?
Oh, I loved it. And your performance, interesting about your performance in that, I'm guessing it was mocap, right? Because it looks like you as well, like the face.
Like a fat version of me.
Good look,
or just
good looking,
me.
good looking rooster. The interesting is you were the only sort of clean character in that, like honest. Was that something they told you, or like to prepare for that, or what? No.
No, again, there's no chit chat. You get the script like on the day, kind of. So it's yeah. But also keep in mind, this is a remake of the first one. So there was a Detective Norman in the first one, which I purposely did not look at, see, or whatever. But
yeah,
I don't want to get skewed that way.
No, that's what a lot of actors do. They sort of stay away from the source because they don't want to copy it. You know, they don't want to.
Exactly.
They want their own interpretation. But so they literally gave you pretty much nothing for that, and you just went in and did that, and that was it. Like that's pretty. That's pretty skillful, man. I'll give you that.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Thank you, man.
You don't need my praise.
And how I got it, but it's very Irish, and there's a lot of Irish people in LA. So I was pretty flattered to get that. I mean, my family's Irish, but it's not like I'm immersed in the accent 24/7. But there's a lot of voice coaching and dialect work for that, for sure.
That's another thing. The only reason I knew it was you because of the face, because the voice was so different with the Irish. But
oh, cool! Right on. That's good.
Yeah. So, all right, let's read some messages from fans just quickly here. That just
are you live or something? Right now?
No, we're not live. But I've got a few messages here that we should read out. Clarke is legitimately one of the best voice actors, if not best actors, I've ever heard in a video game, animated series, or movie. From Jordan.
Jesus, thanks, Jordan.
Don't get too much of a big head, all right, from these.
Whoa,
from this, right?
That is one of the nicest things I've heard in a long, long time. Thank you. That is extremely flattering. Thank you.
Trixie's Tube. Dameon is amazing at his work.
Are you going to balance it out now with a couple of shitty ones?
No. No,
Here we go.
I couldn't find a shitty one. He's amazing at his work. He's got a great personality. He's a happy person, freaking hilarious person, kind-hearted person. Big respect to him.
Oh, that's sweet. Was that somebody that maybe I met in Australia?
Maybe, yeah. Because when did you come down here? Would have been years ago, right?
It's too long now, honestly.
Did you come to Melbourne or Sydney or?
I went to Supernova, which is.
That could be either. There's one in
Vegas and
okay, yep, Brisbane, yep.
So Adelaide was fun because we laughed our asses off. Supernova is great because they take you to like wine country and stuff at the zoo when you're not working. But we were on the way from the airport, and I'm with one of the funniest people alive. His name's Gary Jones. He was on Stargate Atlantis, and my buddy Paul, Paul McGillian, and just so freaking funny. So we're in the van with the cast, half of the cast of Game of Thrones, and it's epic. But we're doing Adelaide, so we're the serial killer capital of Australia. So the guy that's driving the bus is giving us the
spiel,
on Adelaide, right? Not a lot going on in Adelaide.
No. Sorry, guys from Adelaide.
You got it is what it is. You got R.M. Williams, right?
You
got the Holden Monaro plant, which apparently closed down. So he's driving the bus, and he's like, I don't know if nobody's asking him to do this, but he's like giving the tour, and he's like, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Holden Monaro plant, nobody even knows what the fuck Holden Monaro is. Like, I know because I like cars, but the Holden Monaro plant closed down. A lot of people lost their livelihoods. A lot of families broken up over that. And if you look to your right, you'll see one of the largest cemeteries in Adelaide, filled with.
He did not really
took their own lives when the Holden Monaro plant closed down.
He did not.
He
did not.
Loses it at that point. He loses it because we're already crying, right? I'm just.
Oh my God,
It
that's
was
so good.
so macabre.
Far out.
We don't know if the guy's kidding or not.
That is.
I'm like, is this guy doing a bit right now? Because this is hilarious. Filled with people that lost their jobs.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Funny, man.
Shit.
Funny.
I love how
So
that's the biggest. That's the memory, eh? From Adelaide.
It really was. And
Yeah.
some guy that tried to fight me for talking to his wife. I was.
Oh God, that'd be
like, yeah.
territorial. Yeah. Crazy.
You're all a bunch of ex-convicts.
Crazy.
Savages.
Crazy caught Yara. Damien's. Yes,
I'm kidding.
we know you're
very
kidding.
fond of Australians.
We know you're kidding. Dameon Clarke's voice is a drug. Have you heard that one before?
So what? A drunk?
A drug.
Oh.
Yeah, I have.
Are you making these up?
These are not made. These are not made up. These are not made up. I will send them to you after via email. I met Dameon at a convention in Wyoming. He's the coolest person I've ever met.
Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember that.
Cal's, Dameon Clarke's Cell might be my favorite performance from him ever. Every single line.
Very much.
Every single line is delivered perfectly.
It was perfectly in quotes.
No, I put that in.
Oh. My God, you guys, thank you. You guys stop, man. You're starting to I'm starting to get embarrassed here a little bit.
Two more.
This is very, very sweet of everybody to write in and say these things. I personally don't know if I agree with a lot of that, but again, because it's like you're on your own worst critic. But this actually is very sweet. It means a lot to hear that. I really appreciate it.
No, 100%. Christian Wilson, unpopular opinion. Handsome Jack is not a bad guy.
Not unpopular.
It's not, is it? I don't think that is. No.
No.
T. Higgs, how did all those squares make a circle? Does it still bother you? Do you get that reference? It's from Cell, Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah. The arena.
The arena. Yeah.
I know. Yes, I on that, and it drove me nuts. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah,
I know. That's kind of a recent thing that started kind
taking.
of getting gamified. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that still bother you?
Well, that's to assume that it bothered me in the first place. You just assumed that was something that really upset me. Clearly, it must have. Does it still bother you? Yes. No, I only recently kind of discovered that just from the internet. And I was like, I never noticed it before. And I'm like, hang on a minute. That's a really good point.
They just take things and make it a meme or make it a sensation, don't they? It's crazy.
Yeah, you never really know what people are going to glom onto.
No.
Where are you in Australia, by the way?
I'm in Melbourne. Have you been?
Okay.
Have you been to Melbourne?
Yeah. So I did. Yeah, I did. Melbourne, Brisbane, and Adelaide.
Adelaide. So you never been to Sydney?
No.
You'll have to come down again.
Expensive to live there, hey?
In Sydney, yeah. Sydney's the town to be, and then Melbourne's not too much better these days either. House prices have gone way up.
It reminds me a lot of, believe it or not, California. Just Australia in general. Fashion sense, attitude, the way people look and act is very California.
Should I take it as a compliment or not?
Sure.
I don't know if I should. No.
Yeah.
Well, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let me take it back a step, because it's not really the attitude so much as it is just the aesthetic, and also the topography. It just kind of reminded me like I was in Los Angeles. Not really Los Angeles so much, but just various parts.
I get it.
California.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was in a foreign country. Let's put it that way. The people are a hell of a lot nicer than they are in LA. So I'm gonna walk that back. People here suck.
Yeah. And then final one, did Perfect Cell's voice get inspiration from Plankton? I mean, you've probably heard this one before.
Look, I did it before Plankton even existed. So how could I have taken inspiration from
I know, that's I know.
Do your homework.
I know, that's exactly right. Thank you for Eric for finally.
No, I'll tell you though, I did draw inspiration from Terrence Stamp though, from Zod in Superman 2.
Oh yes. I can see that now.
Makes sense, right?
I can see that.
Alien floats around, alien
Yeah.
planet, blowing stuff up, killing people. So I didn't really know what I was going to do for the third version, and we all pull inspiration from different areas, trying to,
Yeah. And who still inspires you to this day?
Depends on the role. It depends on the situation. Like I'm developing a couple of things right now with some a couple of my partners.
Yep.
I drank that weird. And I'll pull inspiration from different movies, different screenwriters, and you gotta be very careful, obviously, like in the word, inspiration and stealing are, you'll see a lot of movies and performances where people just, carbon copy. But it depends on the role, depends on the movie, depends on the genre. And there are like these unattainable freaks like Daniel Day-Lewis are Meryl Streep that are
they're very average actors, aren't they?
Nah. Emma Thompson, like I don't understand that. That's the gold. I don't even know if that's a gold standard or if that's just on another planet. But those people are freaks. They're not normal actors.
No, they're not.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But performance-wise, it's funny, like on camera and stuff. It's weird. On camera, voice-wise, I'll draw inspiration, but like the stuff I do on camera, usually for me, the text, this comes from the text. You sit with it. You'll marinate it. You commit it to memory and you sit with it, and then things will occur to you throughout the day. And maybe it's somebody like an eighth or a 20th of somebody you met in the past or a situation you were in. But it just kind of, you sleep on it and you stew if you've got the time to do that.
Yeah.
So the on-camera thing for me is a bit different that way.
Just a couple more questions, Dameon, because I know you're a busy man. Is there an important failure that you made in your career or that you learnt from that's made you the man?
Oh yeah.
I was going to say that's
how much time you got, dude.
Well, it's just that made you the man you are today. Is there a pivotal?
You never really
mistake?
You never really get over the fear of rejection in any situation, and that's a lot of our job, or just or not just the fear of it, but the actual act of it. A lot of there's a saying like if you've never been fired from a show, you haven't been acting long enough. Most of us at some point, if we've been doing this for 20 plus years, are going to get canned at some point. That's kind of a horrific thing, but you look back on, like Ray Romano got fired from news radio and Joe Rogan ended up doing that role. I'm sure at the time that was kind of devastating, but he was all right. You know what I mean? Like it's just, that's part of Eric Stoltz in Back to the Future. That one had to hurt.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's lots of stories like that, but sure. What was the question? It was, well, what mistakes have I made? Yeah, there's so many, dude. Honestly,
I know. Yeah,
it really is. Like I'm gonna keep fucking up. There's just no end to the amount of mistakes that I'll make. Hopefully, I'm getting better at recognizing situations and problem situations as they arise. But there's just so much going on in this business, especially on the film and TV side of it. There's just so many relationships and dynamics, and it's like high school. When you show up first day on set, and there's just a lot of social cues and stuff you got to. Like, sometimes I'll miss a social cue with somebody, just maybe in everyday life. You know what I mean? Like where the situation is one way, but it turns out it's another way. And I'm always going to be learning and making mistakes and screwing up. But for the most part, I've had a pretty even keel vibe with this job. Yeah, it's such a weird job because there's so much freaking ego. You could show up on a set and the lead doesn't like you because you're better looking or more talented, or these are not my problems. Does
this still happen to this day?
Oh my God, yeah, dude.
Wow, man. It's sort of sad, unfortunately.
So a lot of all that's out of your control, or even like you might recognize because there's so much like a lot. It's a job full of professional misfits, right? So everybody's in this job for whatever reason. But let's face it, if we weren't doing this, what are we going to do? Work in a bank? Like we're all a bunch of head cases at the end of the day. So it's every production is a minefield of you don't know what the hell you're going to step in, who you're dealing with, if they're going to like you, if they're not, why they don't like you. It's just so, but picking up on social cues and situations is probably one of the things that will always be like an ongoing endeavor, and just trying not to get shit canned from a show, you know?
So all you can do is just be yourself, be nice, be friendly, easy to work with, and
and just keep your eyes open and your mouth shut, for sure. But yeah, so just maybe I'll leave you with a funny story. Yeah. When I first got it started out, I got this audition for a lead in a Sandra Bullock movie, and it was what was it, Cold something. It didn't really go as mainstream as a lot of Sandra Bullock movies. Anyway, it was a really big. It was kind of a cool thing. It was when I was living in Texas, and there was no script, and I'm like, how am I supposed to audition and prepare for this lead when there's no freaking script? I got no context, It's like, well, there's no script. So my manager at the time was like, hey man, guess what? I found a script. I'm like, sweet. Turns out the character has a lazy eye, and this is so stupid, man. So I'm like, hey man, I can do that. So I shit you not, I go into the audition. I had to have it memorized because I can't read a script like this. It's not, everything's underwater. So and we're talking before the audition. And this poor casting director. I swear to God, to this day, I felt so bad that I did this. We're talking, hey, blah, 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 good to see you again. I know a couple of producers, right? Okay, so you want to get into it? Yeah, great, let's get into it. So, and action, and I go. And you can see, well, I couldn't really see, but apparently their heads were like a dog that heard a weird noise. And I did it more subtly than that. Like I did it just like a really kind of, and so it ends. And instead of like a, hey, good job, it was more like a,
oh, God.
And they're looking at each other like, did I just drop acid?
Oh, man.
Did somebody just punch me in the fucking head while I wasn't, like, what happened? So later on, I talked to the casting director, and she was like, yeah, so what happened? Not like, hey, good job. Like usually I do a pretty good job. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Good for you. You're shortlisted, or, they loved you, but this, like, never have I gotten a, what happened?
Oh, man.
Scenario. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I thought I was a shoo-in. I had the cross-tie and everything. No one else could do that. She's like, what happened? I was like, well, I did the eye, because the guy has the eye. And she goes, what the fuck are you talking about? There's no eye. What are you talking? There's no eye. I go, I got the script. It says he's got a lazy eye. She goes, that was like a first draft from like 5 years ago. The character doesn't have a lazy eye, man. And even if he did, I don't think it's cross-eyed. And the lazy eyes kind of go the other way. He goes, it was a disaster. You started reading, and nobody really knew what the hell was wrong, but they knew something was wrong. They knew something was wrong. They just couldn't put their finger on it. And I was listening to this. I was like, one day I'm going to be talking to Dan Allen in an interview, and I'm going to tell this story about how stupid I am. And when the casting director says there's no script, just go along with it. Don't try to get fancy and go and try to find a script that's no longer applicable. Like she says, well, what would you do if the character had one arm? You going to chop off your freaking arm? Baby. What an idiot.
That is a fantastic story.
Stuff like that way all the time. I thought I was getting ahead of the game, and oh my God. So I think I don't even know if I ever like that ago. But,
what can I say? What did you say to the person that gave you the script? What's your relationship with them like now? Because I'd be mad. I mean, Far
Well,
out.
look, and ultimately it's my fault because the casting director said there was no script. I should have just gone along with that. And I should not have tried to go over her head.
Yeah.
Dumb move. In any situation in life.
Yeah.
If you go over somebody's head, you better have a strong plan B. These are just dumb mistakes that I would make that I wouldn't think about it. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody or whatever. I'm trying to do the best job I can. So I go and get a freaking script. I wasn't thinking about any repercussions at all because I'm stupid. So,
man, what a great story to finish it off, mate. It's been a pleasure to chat with you today, mate. I hope you had a good time.
I did. I don't know what the internet's talking about. You seem like a really nice guy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
No, yeah, you're cool. This has been a nice laid back interview. I appreciate it.
And is there anything you want to...
Thank you so much. Sorry, man. Thank you so much to everybody that wrote in and said those kind words. I am just thank you so much. That's really, really sweet of you. And I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for giving us up some of your day. And before I let you go, can Handsome Jack say anything to Dan as we finish this one off?
What do you say about Dan? Other than the fact that he's stupid and no one likes him. Except Butt Stallion. Butt Stallion's a huge fan. By the way, Butt Stallion says hello. By Hyperion, I'm the goddamn hero. XOXO LOL. Big Handsome Jack smooches.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Have a great day, mate. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for reaching out. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, man.